deserves everything you got. This is a Union City.
That is a Philadelphia tradition.
Seize the means of podcasting.
Oh, God, the boss has crushed us.
Let me tell you one thing else.
In oldie-timey times.
The pleasure of the flesh is in solidarity.
We will not raw reality for that one.
It's going to be wholly unprofessional.
The Scam Buster.
What have we become?
Eat together strong. Let that be your mantra.
Solidarity. Solidarity forever.
Hello and welcome to the Labor John Podcast, where we tip our hat to the working class history of Philadelphia and the surrounding world. My name is Sam James, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host.
I'm Gabe Christie, and happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day. We are recording this on Labor Day, but you'll probably be hearing this on a day that isn't Labor Day, but to the working class of Philadelphia and the surrounding world, every day is Labor Day. Right, Gabe?
Correct.
And we're going to get right into it. Today, we're going to learn about something very, very special. What is it, Gabe?
The Stetson hat strike of 1916.
Oh, I like it. Let's go.
So, one moment.
Oh, God, already?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
So,
hey, we're
I like hats.
I like hats too, Gabe.
And as you'll see on screen, there's some very fine gentlemen here. And what do you notice about them?
They're all racists.
Yes. What else do you notice about
is
them?
Key. Oh, the Cowboys, Gabe. And they look like they just lost a $20 hand cart.
Yeah. Or no, was this scene? I don't remember. Anyway, these fine gentlemen from the film Blazing Saddles, the documentary Blazing Saddles.
This is your fault for bringing pop culture into this, Gabe.
It's true. I should have watched the whole film again for the umpteenth time to remember what was actually happening in this scene. I think this is when they're about to sing Camptown Races, but I don't remember.
Okay. Well, Gabe, I will answer your question for you. They're all wearing a headgear.
Yes, they are. They are all wearing various types of cowboy hats. And that has a lot more to do with Philadelphia than most people realize. So, let's
get into it.
Yeah. So the hat trade in Philadelphia started in 1690, from what we can tell. That was a fellow named John Coley, or two guys, John Coley and Anthony Sturgis, were both listed in the tax records as Hatter and Felter.
Felder? Hardly even know her.
I mean, I started us off with Blazing Saddles. I shouldn't have expected us to go anywhere else. Okay.
So I was out walking the parapet.
By 1802, there are 102 hat making shops in the city. Most of these were like small artisans that still worked off of the apprentice system. So you would apprentice yourself to be a hatter and learn the trade. But it wasn't industrialized yet. Then throughout the middle and towards the end of the 19th century, it became more and more industrialized, and you started to get bigger and more complex hat companies. And hat making became a very crowded business. And most of these hat makers, though, were focusing on the eastern urban market. So, like, if you were a hat maker in Philly, you were mostly selling to department stores in Philly, or selling out of, like, your outlet store. But in the 1870s, one guy came along that changed everything. And that's Mr. John B. Stetson. So he was born in 1830 in Orange, New Jersey. He was actually the son of a hatter. So he grew up in his father's shop learning his trade. And by the 1850s, he was diagnosed with tuberculosis.
Oh, like everybody at that time.
It was pretty much just a standard diagnosis. Really, it was the ADHD of his time that everybody
There you
has
go.
some level of tuberculosis. So he traveled out west to Illinois and Wisconsin to see. Basically, he figured he was going to die of TB, so he wanted to go see the American West before he died.
Fair.
Yeah,
That's kind of sweet. That's bittersweet.
yeah. And so while he was out there, he just did a bunch of odd jobs, including working in a brickyard, and then ended up joining a gold mining expedition to Colorado. And so on that expedition, he made hats for other people on the trail and realized that there was an untapped market, which was hats made specifically for the American West.
Hey, okay.
At this point, you were still seeing people wearing like not top hats, but more Eastern US or European style hats, but out in the American West that they were not designed for it. Or if you wanted a hat that was designed for the American West, you'd buy more traditional hats from Mexico. But there wasn't anything designed specifically for like North American white people in the West. So basically,
try riding a horse in a top hat, though. Seriously,
I know.
That's a lot of wind resistance.
He needed to manifest destiny hat making. He came back to Philly in the 1860s and created something called the Boss of the Plains, which is a fantastic name for a hat. And really it was just a modified sombrero, but he gave it a high rounded crown. So I don't know if you can see these three gentlemen with their hats circled in red here. But all three of them are wearing Boss of the Plains hats. And actually, I think the guy in the white hat in the back, that's another Boss of the Plains. And actually, yeah, there are 6 Boss of the Plains hats. Basically, everyone that isn't wearing a bowler in this picture is wearing a Boss of the Plains.
Quite dapper.
Yeah. And so the goal was it would protect you from the sun. It would also keep the rain off of you. It was fairly waterproof, so you could actually use it as a bucket. It was, yep. It was broad and fairly thin, so you could use it as a fan. It was supposedly you were supposed to be able to fill it with water and water your horse with it. I'm not sure you'd want to throw it right back on your head after having your horse slosh around in it, but but yeah, so the basic idea was to create a like multi-tool hat.
Yeah. Which is an interesting phrase, a multi-tool hat.
Yeah.
It was the Swiss Army hat of its time.
Yeah. And if you think about it, when you're going out west, you needed a way to, everything that you were carrying had to have multiple uses, because you basically had like the clothes on your back and anything else that you could reasonably carry. Because this also wasn't really made for like the folks going out on wagon trains to settle as much. It was much more like the pioneering people going out first and doing all the prospecting. With the cowboys, which is why it turned into cowboy hats.
Hey, spoiler alert.
So Stetson started mass producing these hats and quickly became one of the largest hat makers in the city. Because these, like, the moment he started selling them, they were just flying off the shelves. Because no one had been doing it before. So the first couple ones he made in his own shop. Then he started to teach other people how to make it, and then started to figure out how to industrialize the process. And that brings us to the Stetson Hat Factory. So, in order to mass produce everything, he set up a massive facility at Germantown and Columbia, which is now Cecil B. Moore. So it was basically at like Cecil B. Moore and 4th and Germantown. It's kind of an awkward section. So you can see on the right-hand side of this picture, that's 4th Street. And then on the other side of the triangle, that's Germantown Ave coming down to Cecil, what is today Cecil B. Moore. So he took over 1.5 whole city blocks eventually. It was over 1 million square feet, filling an entire, this was a big facility. So it filled the entire triangular block here, and then had an extension across to the other side of Germantown Ave with a walking sky bridge between the two.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
cool.
on the 3rd floor, I think. 3rd or 4th, or 2nd or 3rd story there, yeah. So all of this was one hat factory. And they would do the entire process from basically getting animal pelts and then in like one side of the factory, and then a hat would come out the other side. And basically everything short of trapping the animals was done in this building.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah,
a lot of rats in that basement.
I'm sure there were. So the hats were mainly made out of animal furs, using beaver, rabbit, or nutria. It was a very arduous process, and conveniently in 1920 they produced a 10-minute long video showing the entire process start to finish. It actually started with a kid holding up 2 dead rabbits.
Okay.
Yeah, in case you were wondering where the fur was coming from.
This is on your head now.
So what the process that they had to do, you would first chemically treat the fur to prepare it for felting. Then you would have to dry the fur in ovens. Then it would get brushed and cleaned. Then it would get shaved off of the skin, because again, this is coming in as a solid pelt. Then once it's shaved off the skin, it's sorted and graded for color. Then it would be fed into what's called a picker, which is like a big industrial machine that would had a bunch of pins that would pick through everything, and then the kind of fluff it up, and then blowers would blow those clumps, would blow that kind of fluff back up or back together, and it would kind of come together if you think like polyfill, like just a big kind of fluffy cloud. Yeah, that used to be little bunnies.
Mommy, I see the bunnies in the clouds.
Yay! So then that loose fluff would be portioned into a hat body by weight. It would then get blown onto a 3-foot high copper cone to form the first felting. Then that cone would get dunked, or the felt would be taken off of that cone. It would then get dunked in scorching hot water. Then it would be steamed to shrink it. It would get beaten, molded, blocked, shaped, sanded, trimmed, and finally finished, boxed, and shipped out to a retail store. Now,
damn.
Yeah. And because this was all industrialized, every single step that I just described was performed by a different department within the Stetson hat factory. So every single person was doing one of these jobs, and only that one job. So, and this obviously was a break from the old like traditional apprenticeship method where you would learn how to do everything start to finish. Here, like there were, it was mostly women from what I can tell doing the grading, or at least in that video. The women were grading the furs, and then you'd have men doing the shaping and the felting. But it was all various steps or various parts of this big industrialized process. And so obviously that also means that the work is very repetitive. A lot of it ended up being very dangerous because there are a lot of instances of when traditionally with hat making, you're like steaming something and then you have a little handheld wooden block that you're using to shape everything. When you're doing it at an industrial scale, you have big like steam powered presses that are doing all of the shaping for you.
Oh,
so you're taking a felt blank, shoving it in by hand between two giant steel presses, and then pressing everything down. So there's lots of opportunities to, get your fingers smushed and turned into more hat. And not to mention the fact that you're also dealing with like, there's lots of fire because one of the steps in the process is you would douse everything in alcohol and basically do a flash burn to get rid of any loose hairs. And then everything else was using very hot steam to keep everything soft for shaping. And then there's also all of the chemicals that you're getting exposed to that are used to treat everything to get it ready for felting in the first place. Yeah, so it's
and then
super
you got to
fun.
walk across like an early 20th century sky bridge. That's the worst part.
Yeah, I think actually an 1890s sky bridge, if I remember correctly, when they built the extension. So even older. Yeah, so that was life inside the Stetson factory, or at least work inside the Stetson factory.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
But Stetson himself...
Gabe, that's why you have 10 fingers, so you can lose one or two,
I mean, that's true. You don't need all 10. Some can get made into hats. It's fine. That's actually what Crocodile Dundee had.
That's what... It's instead of crocodile teeth, it was just fingers from the Stetson Hat Company.
Yeah, from all the workers that worked on his hat.
That ain't a hat. This is a hat.
So Stetson, while working in the factory, was probably not terribly fun. Stetson was known as a progressive capitalist, if that's a term we want to use. It was that
he saw like his mortality, though. He faced a little bit of his mortality. Maybe that kind of touched his heart a little bit.
Well, I think he subscribed to that early 20th century kind of progressivism where if you give workers slightly more than just the absolute bare minimum to subsist on, they might work slightly better for you
and not kill you
and not strike as much.
There you go.
So he had this kind of like it was a very good microcosm of the paternalistic enlightened capitalism of the early 1900s. So he offered Christmas bonuses, stock options, an employee building and loan company. There were interdepartmental baseball tournaments. They had
there we go. Oh,
yeah. So you got free childcare while working here.
That ain't bad.
Yeah.
The baseball team is where it got me, Gabe.
I know.
Shit. Sign me up.
then you'd also have annual banquets. They also had cafeterias on site. So you'd have a nice lunch break in like a nice clean cafeteria. So on the face of it, it looks pretty good.
Sounds great. I'm on his side.
So the majority of workers actually did own stock in the company and theoretically made profits or made money as profits went up. But there's always a catch here.
Yeah.
So
it's the baseball team.
Yeah. Stetson would personally hand out stocks in the Building and Loan Association to the employees that he deemed deserving.
Oh, okay. What does that mean?
So basically, if you wanted, from my understanding of it, anyone or any Stetson employee could get a loan from the Building and Loan Corporation that they had. So it was kind of like a credit union. But if you wanted to own stock in it, that stock was given, either you had to buy it or Stetson would gift you stock in the Building and Loan if he liked you. So that means that you would make money off of it rather than just getting a loan to build a house.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Everything should be run by popularity contests, in my opinion.
And specifically whether or not you're popular with your boss.
With the bosses.
So then key personnel in the company, which again, determined by Stetson himself or the executives after he passed. So key personnel in the company got life insurance paid for by the company. Select employees were getting the Christmas bonuses. Not everyone.
Oh.
Yeah. But everyone did get a Christmas gift every year. Single men got Stetson hats. Which is nice. Like after you made probably 300 or 400 hats over the course of a year, if not.
Yeah, you get one.
Yeah, probably 300 or 400 hats over the course of a month. Come to think of it,
right?
Yeah, then
with the fingers of your coworkers in them.
Yeah. So single men got Stetson hats. The heads of households got a turkey, which that's what this picture is. That's everybody standing with their dead turkey. And then
they're dead? I thought they were alive. You just get a pet.
I mean, they were alive at one point. I mean,
that's fair.
I hate to break it to you, Sam, but every person in this photo is dead.
Oh,
now
even the turkeys. God damn it! This is depressing.
Gabe. And the building because it got knocked down.
Oh, Gabe, calm down with the spoiler alerts with this episode, man. We have an hour and a half left of this.
So then women would get gloves and candies as part of their Christmas bonuses.
Candies? Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Fucking what? Like we're children? Jesus Christ! Candies?
Yep.
Here's a Mars bar, Samantha.
Yeah.
Thanks for the work.
They also, yeah, like I said, very paternalistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they also had the Stetson Auditorium, which was available for parties, dances, and banquets. And this was basically just a big meeting hall that, from what I could tell, was mostly just used for like official Stetson sanctioned events, but might have been available for other events or parties. It was unclear. But what it was used for a lot was American
karaoke nights. Oh.
I mean, if they had a karaoke machine, I'm sure that would have been done. You could have like a Victrola playing, and then you'd have someone holding up cards with the lyrics. So what they did have were Americanization classes for all of the immigrant workers.
No. Oh,
Yep.
Please don't bring that back. Do not give anybody's ideas, okay? I think that's already happening.
Yeah, so they had the Americanization classes for workers who lived in the area around the factory in Kensington. I don't think you actually had to be a Stetson worker to go to the classes. You just had to be near the factory. So those were all of the benefits of working at Stetson. Which, I mean...
A lot of caveats.
There's a lot of caveats, but you get a nice hat, and then if you get married, you get a turkey. So
there we go.
All in all,
and
pretty
some
good.
Candy if you're a woman.
That's true. We should not forget our femmes. So John B. Stetson died in 1906. And
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
He was at one point he was a worker in Philadelphia. Briefly.
All right. Was it the TB they got him?
I doubt it. I mean, he lived to 76 years old. Yeah.
All right.
So,
man.
And
it's pretty good for that time.
Yeah, I mean, if the TB was going to get him, it was going to get him early. But he seems to have survived pretty well. I also hadn't considered that. I wonder how much his TB was exasperated by growing up in his dad's hat shop and probably breathing in all sorts of horrific chemicals. But the other thing that I hadn't mentioned is it wasn't really discussed at the time, but was probably an issue that people were aware of to a certain extent, especially when you're near the like pickers and the fluffing machines and all that. You're breathing in all the dust from all of the fur constantly. So just like, I mean, you have like 65 cats. So imagine that, but industrialized, and then breathe that in for 12 hours a day. So the conditions in the plant itself weren't great. The work was very hard and had long hours. And some of the workers started to organize a union.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. One of the lead organizers was a guy named Edward McPeak of 2110 North 2nd Street.
We're doxing people.
Yeah, I mean...
Doxing people now? Okay.
It's the early 20th century Inquirer. They doxed everybody.
There we go. This is where everybody lived.
Yep.
Go to their house. Go visit them.
Yeah.
It was like their version of Facebook. Everyone doxes himself. So I mean,
basically, yeah. This whole thing of like having privacy that's never happened. So the demands that they were going to bring forward, because they were formulating all of these kind of behind the scenes. First, Stetson had actually built their own natural gas plant on site. So as part of that giant industrial complex, there was a national gas distillation site. So
damn.
Yeah. The workers complained that using this homemade natural gas left them feeling sick at the end of the day from breathing in all of the fumes. Yeah. And they wanted the company to have a natural gas line put in from the United Gas Improvement Company, which is
Okay.
now PGW.
Hey, okay.
Yeah. So basically they were saying,
Shit, I gotta
like,
pay my bills. I forgot.
oh
Fuck.
yeah. It'd be nice if they could finish some of the work that they're doing on every single street around me right now. They wanted to have, like, actually as relatively safe as early 20th century liquid
Sure.
natural gas was.
Yeah. They want it to breathe.
Which
is an okay. Yeah, I mean, it's weird to put that, like, in, like, the union contract eventually. Like, yeah, we would like to actually breathe air. Stetson's like, nah, I don't think so, but
no.
Exactly. Like, nah, I don't think we can do that for you.
I can't imagine that it's cheaper to make your own natural gas than to just buy it from the United Gas Improvement Company. Like,
hey man, if your factory takes up like a square fucking mile of Philadelphia, I mean,
that's true.
You're like, I'm gonna put everything in there. I'm paying for the space.
That's very true. I mean, they literally already have, like, a concert hall and a kindergarten. They might as well have a gas plant.
Right.
And they should all be right next to each other. Yeah. God. I shudder to think what those kids were being taught in the Stetson factory kindergarten.
God, if the adults were getting Americanization classes, what do you think the kids were getting?
Mm-hmm. Again, let's not give anyone any ideas right now.
It was all worth it for the baseball team, though.
Yes.
That league was something else, though.
They also had some wage demands, claiming that the wages had been slowly reduced from $3 for a dozen hats to $1.75. At the time,
They work on, like, commission, like how much they actually produce. Interesting.
Yes. So it looks like there were a couple different wage scales that were going on.
Okay. All right.
It was kind of hard to tell, because then they start going by weekly wages as opposed to by hat, or by dozen hat. Yeah. So they pointed out that unionized hat making shops were making around $28 a week, or a minimum of $22 doing the same work that they were doing. They only made $18. They claimed that at the Stetson factory, they used to make 22 to 25. So those were the two, really the only grievances that they had were, don't poison us and maybe pay us slightly more. Which I think reasonable.
Yeah.
So on Monday, February 28th, 1916, McPeak, the organizer, was paid out his wages for the day and told not to return. At that point, he had held 2 organizing meetings and had attempted to negotiate a resolution to the gas issue with Stetson. In response to his dismissal at 10 a.m. Wednesday, March 1st, 1916, 900 men walked out of the soft hat finishing department, which effectively shut down production, since that was the last step in the process. So the company initially said they would not make any public comment or response until presented with an official list of demands from the strikers. So on March 2nd, the strikers then met at the Odd Fellows Hall in Kensington, elected their negotiating committee, and laid out their demands, which were then presented.
Hey, okay.
Yeah. So they wanted standardized wages with no piecework. So they no longer wanted to get paid by dozens of hats. Wanted an hourly wage, which is fair.
Hourly and not Hatley. That's fine.
Yep. Again, they wanted the United Gas Improvement Company to have a line there.
They wanted to breathe. Fair.
Yeah, they wanted to breathe. Then they wanted to have 8 workers who were fired for union activity, including McPeak. They wanted all of them reinstated. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah. That meeting
reasonable.
had, of the 900 men that initially walked out, that meeting had 782 of them present. There were 50 more of them out on the picket line. And they wanted to try and get another 150 men to join them. Because if they could do that, then the entire soft hat finishing department, and thus all soft hat finishing production, would cease. And that the boss of the planes was a soft hat, as opposed to like a derby, which is a stiffened crown. The boss of the planes was a softer crown. So it's also just insane to think that there were like 1,000 workers just in one department of one type of hat.
Right.
Like this was a massive thing.
Yeah, this was a different time in this city.
Oh yeah. So finally, the company responded to all of this with a letter on March 3rd. And this letter got sent to each of the striking workers, informing them that if they did not report to work by Monday, March 6th, they'd be fired.
Cool. I'm glad they're listening.
Yes. Good response to reasonable demands. So the workers determined that they'd stick it out and pushed forward with their demands. They also... I'm a little bit unclear as to the reasoning behind this, but they actually turned down assistance from the United Hatters of North America, which is the hat makers union. My best guess is that they knew that if they officially announced that they were a union, the company would freak out. So they were really trying to portray themselves as just like a mutual aid benefit society, rather than a proper union.
Sure.
And it was probably, it was probably to a certain extent because you have all of the like paternalism, and there were probably some people who did just really like the baseball team, who you didn't want to turn them away by saying we're forming a union. So they were playing some careful politics there, or at least I think they were. So March 6th, the negotiating committee attempted to meet with J. Howell Cummings, who was the president of the Stetson Hat Company at the time, to present their demands, but to no avail. Company refused all of the demands, and the strikers had to go back to the picket line. And the picket line for itself was mostly quite peaceful. There was one guy named George McLean who was arrested for taunting a police officer, but was soon released. Which, that goes up there with called police bad names.
Oh, these snowflakes.
Mm-hmm. So, and I should also point out that by Monday, March 6th, technically every single person on strike was fired, according to Stetson.
Okay.
So by Tuesday, March 7th, state labor mediators were dispatched to find a resolution. Patrick Gilday, James A. Stees, arrived in Philadelphia and met with Cummings at the Stetson plant in the morning. On March 8th, they addressed 700 striking hatters at the Manchester Unity Hall in Kensington, which is also the Oddfellows Hall. They kept switching what they were calling it.
Okay.
But it's, from what I can tell, it's the Fraternal Society of Oddfellows of United Manchester.
All right.
If I remember correctly. So they would...
Dibs on the band name, but...
Yeah. Try fitting that on one CD label. Because, that's still how music is sold.
Yeah, Gabe. Gabe, we're talking about a 1960 hat strike. I think it's okay. I think we'll be forgiven.
It would fit nicely on a vinyl sleeve, but...
Yeah, there you go.
The state mediators came and talked to the strikers, explained that Stetson was willing to continue negotiations if the strikers went back to work.
Okay.
Yeah. As always, we're willing to talk if you give up all of your leverage.
There you go.
Yeah. Strikers determined to stay out, but on March 10th, assembled at the Oddfellows Hall, which is also the Manchester Unity Hall, to hear an offer from the company. At this point, Stetson had offered them rehiring everyone on strike, reinstating all of the men to their previous positions, and then they would continue to negotiate with state mediators, but would not meet with the negotiating committee.
Okay, why?
Because that was de facto recognition of the union.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right.
So even though there wasn't technically a union, Stetson was still refusing to negotiate with them or to even have the semblance of negotiation. It also doesn't seem like they were willing to rehire anyone that was fired before the strike. They were only going to rehire the people currently out on strike.
Oh, they were going to hire the 6 or so?
Yeah, it was 8 guys, including McPeak. Yeah. So the strikers stuck to their own demands, and negotiation directly between the committee and the union, which is the committee being Stetson's committee, to come up with a standardized wage scale. That was, this is their new demand. They wanted to negotiate a standardized wage scale. Then the company would rehire McPeak and all workers who were fired for organizing activity. And then, again, the ability to breathe while in their workplace by having United Gas Improvement Company come in. So the workers met again at March 13th and again refused to accept the company's offers. They also learned that the company had canceled all of their stocks in the Stetson Building and Loan Association, meaning that they were no longer accruing interest on the stocks that they held. And basically all of that equity just went out the window. So that pissed them off. And they determined that they were going to stay out even fucking longer. By March 24th, the strike had been going on for 3 weeks, and a small number of workers had returned to work, and some pickets had been arrested at this point. Most of the time, from what I can tell, it was just for threatening or intimidating scabs. There wasn't really much violence. Just lots of yelling insults at each other. Because they had all gone through good Americanization training, so they knew how to behave.
Well, they're also from Philadelphia, so
yeah,
that's just how we talk to each other.
It's true. On the 24th, John J. Scully and Martin Lawler, which were the president and secretary, respectively, of the United Hatters Union, met with the strikers at the Oddfellows Hall, declared that even if the strikers didn't affiliate with the union, they would still support them. Because from the United Hatters perspective, having the largest hat company in North America just sitting there ununionized was not good for them. Like, you needed that union density. So at this point, the men were also joined by 150 women who started to organize. These were the hat trimmers and finishers. So they were the ones who were sewing the ribbon on the inside and the outside of these hats.
Okay. What did Stetson say? He's like, no more candy.
Yeah, probably.
No more candy. We're taking the candy away.
So they met independently at Kensington and Cumberland Avenue and formed their own protective association. And then by the 28th, they officially joined the strikes and joined the men out on the picket line. The women, the women were only making $1 a week while the men were on strike, down from 11 to 12 during regular work. So it seems like, I guess because of how the piecework functioned, that because no hats were going out, you were only getting paid by what you produced. And so they probably just kept them on like a $1 a week retainer to keep them there. So not much. Eventually, the company did give them an additional $3 a week. So they were making $4 just to keep them happy. But that wasn't actually enough to, sustain yourself.
To live. Yeah.
Or deal with all the like health problems that came from breathing in this like homemade natural gas that they were pumping into the factory. So they were mostly striking out of sympathy and solidarity with the men, and urged the other 225 women in their department to join them in order to bring about a speedy resolution to the strike. Now, unfortunately, the strike continued throughout late spring, stretching from April into May, and then finally into early June.
Whoa! Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting the length of that.
So by June 9th, 1916, strikers held a mass meeting where they heard the latest offer from the company. That was all men to be rehired. They would be returned to their original jobs whenever possible. They would actually receive a proportion of back pay going back to the start of the strike.
Interesting.
That's honestly not often, or you don't always see that nowadays. So seeing that in 1916 is surprising. There was no concessions yet on gas or pay grievances. The company said that men can bring their grievances as a body or individually according to the company's own internal practices.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I trust that.
Sure.
But it was still the best offer they'd gotten, and it had been like March to June, 3 months on strike. So they decided by a 75% vote to accept the terms and return to work. So that was the 1916 Stetson strike.
Okay. Damn, that was a long one.
Yeah, it was interesting. I also realized there was a quote that I should have included where they were talking about when McPeak got fired. He had actually, the Saturday before he got fired, he had been given an award for the baseball team because they had like this big gala dinner. And so he like made a quip to the newspaper being like, well, last Saturday they were all singing my praises for the baseball team, and then they kicked him out.
Oh, he got cut.
Yep.
Damn. Okay. Well, I mean, the back pay, as you said, that's something else. I mean, that probably got a lot of people like, yeah, this is probably the best we're gonna get at the, so.
And yeah, it's interesting because the seeing how the state mediators actually kind of did something this time around, which isn't always just the case. Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting to see how like a really progressive capitalist company handled the strikers, because I was fully expecting going into this that despite all of the nice things about Stetson, his response was going to be like call in the militia and mow them down in the street. Or I guess not Stetson, but John J. Cummings, whatever the president was at this point. But like it was surprisingly peaceful. So I guess good on all parties. Gabe. Yeah,
I'll take it.
This is one of the more upbeat episodes we've ever had. So.
And we have missing fingers.
The one other benefit that I forgot to mention was they did have a doctor on site. That apparently all started because John Stetson would invite his personal physician to come, and like when he needed him, when he had to go to the doctor would come to his office, and then he started paying him to have, whenever he had a checkup, he would pay the doctor to stay there and like treat whoever came in, or any of the workers that would come in. And then that slowly developed into him like having a Stetson company doctor on site, or a paid Stetson company doctor on site at all times. But this was also before HIPAA. So yeah, there was nothing preventing those doctors from being like,
around.
So just ratting them out. So lots of, I mean,
benefits with the quote with the in quotation marks, maybe an asterisk or two.
Big asterisk, yeah. I also do want to give a special thanks to the Philadelphia Immigration, which is a project from Westchester University and the Louis B. Nunn Center for Oral History at the University of Kentucky, because they digitized all of the newspaper microfilm clippings that I used for this.
Okay.
Because for some reason, I think it was the Evening Bulletin was not showing up in all of my normal searches, but all of the articles were available through them. So thank you to them.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So that was the 1916 Stetson strike.
Thanks, Gabe.
Thank you, Sam.
I don't know how to end this one.